Welcome to the sixth part of our NFT tickets for your event tutorial. In this installment, we are going to create a full-stack application using React and Firebase to verify the holder of the NFTs of our event at the entrance. To achieve verification, we will deploy a QR code on a device at the event entrance, which attendees will then scan from their Phantom wallet. This will take them to a specific route of our app from where the NFT verification will be done, and messages will be displayed on both devices. A preliminary step we will take is to modify the ERC1155 contract we created using QuickNode Guides to add a new function. We open our ERC1155 contract to add the getID owned by account function, which will receive a wallet address and return the ID of the NFT ticket it owns. It does this by iterating the indices from 0 to the last of the array of IDs and comparing the wallet stored in the ID domain mapping of each index with the wallet it received as a parameter. If it finds a match, it returns the ID of that index in the array of IDs, and if it does not find it, it will return 0. Let's remember to add this functionality to the factory contract, with which we will interact directly. So we create the send function that will receive the collection index and the wallet address to verify. This function will simply return the result of calling the function we created in the base contract, which we can access in the token array with the receive index. For the purposes of this tutorial, as we already know, will always be 0 and will return in the same way the index of the NFT that wallet owns, or 0 if it finds none. As always, we must compile our new contract by opening a terminal in the corresponding directory and executing the commands migrate and verify, and then copy the address of the new contract. Once again, we go to the Mumbai Polygon scan with our contract address, connect with Metamask, and deploy with a new name and all parameters as we have always been doing. We now have our new contract and can see the new function we have created in the Read Contract tab. We create our React app that we will call Portal NFT Pass. We have created this image for our QuickNode variable called image.png, and we will place it in the public folder. We are going to delete the app.js and app.css file and create the home, access, and verify file, all with JS and CSS extensions. We are going to clean up the code in the index.js file a bit. We import the React DOM client library and import the files we have created, and then create the routes as follows. We must not forget to import the routing functions, the React Router DOM library, which we will also proceed to install. In our home.js file, we are going to start by importing the corresponding styles and a library to create our QR code. We install the library, and now we create our home function, which we will also export. This function will return the following elements: a container within which we will place the image we have imported, a title inviting to scan the QR code from the Phantom, a container for the QR code, and our QR code component with the following parameters, where the code content will be obtained from an address variable that we will create now. Given that when scanning the code, we will send the user to the verified route, we first determine the home route, which is the route of the page we are displaying, and append the verified route. We must also append the Phantom address in this way so that the Phantom app can recognize it as a route to open in the browser. At this point, we can test how our app is shaping up by running npm run start. In our solution, we will use a real-time Firebase database in the following way. Upon first loading the home page on the device that will be at the event entrance, a collection will be created in Firebase whose name will be the address of the page and 3 parameters will be created. Then, these parameters will be written from the verify route in the Phantom wallet, according to the status of the verification of the NFTs. Since our base app will be listening to these chains, we will be able to get a real-time information on the status of the verification until we can admit or not the person to the event. We go to firebase.com, make sure we are logged in, and then go to the console, where we create a new project, give it a name. Once the project is created, we go to the Web tab to register the application we are creating. We put the name of our application. We are going to install the Firebase library. We will copy the code that the page gives us with the configuration parameters and create a firebase.js file in the src folder. Paste the code and add the export of a database constant obtained by calling the getDatabase function with the app parameter that is already declared. We still need to import this function from the Firebase database library. Then we install Firebase tools with this command, and we execute Firebase login, and we execute Firebase init. Here we must press space to select real-time database, enter to select an existing project, select the one we have already created, and then press enter until the process is complete. On the Firebase page, we go to the console and look in the All Products tab for the real-time database. Then create a database, next, and test mode. Back to home.js file. We import the DB object from the Firebase file we created and the functions ref, set, onValue, and update from the Firebase database library. We create the create function. If the collection is not yet created, the name of the collection will be our href variable without the bars and dots. Firebase does not allow it. We achieve this with the replace all function. We are going to create a database ref content by calling the ref function with our DB object and the name we have created. Inside the create function, we will call the set function from the Firebase database library, which receives a reference to the database and an object with the fields that the collection will carry, and initialize them with the following information. These fields will help us control the communication process between our base app and the Phantom app. We will see how. To create our collection, we will use the useEffect hook that we must import from React and within which we will call the create collection function. Now we are going to program the subscription to changes in the database. We will do this by declaring a constant listener that will listen to what the onValue function sends, which receives the reference to the database and a function with a snapshot parameter. Let's declare a variable data outside of useEffect and save here the information that comes in the snapshot. This will happen when the listener is declared and then each time there is a change in the database. We are going to move our call to create DB inside the condition that there is no data in the snapshot. For example, the collection has not yet been created. If there is data, we are going to create a situation where if the action field in the database is in scanned, it means that a user has scanned the code. We must program this on the verified route side. And from here, we are going to navigate to the access page, which we will soon create to display on the screen the result of the verification process. We need to import the useNavigate from React Router DOM to access the routes and declare a constant navigate to access the useNavigate function. And we will also release our listener once the page is unmounted in the following way. Let's create the access function in our access file. We export it and we are going to make it return the following text. At this point, if we run our application and change the action field by adding the scanned value, we see how our app automatically navigates to the access route. The information we display on the screen will depend on the action that the verified route is performing in the Phantom app. Therefore, we must also create a listener here that is subscribed to change in the database. For this, we need to know the name of the collection, and we will know it by taking the address of the current route without the /access string, which we can achieve through this code. Now we create our database ref and proceed to import the necessary libraries. Declare our variables, data, and navigate. And in the use effect hook, we create our listener that we will subscribe to change in the database. Our application will display relevant information on the screen for different cases of the action field. For this, we will create an action constant using the useState hook, defining the setAction function to change its state and be able to render the information on the screen later. We will call this setAction function every time there is a change in the database, and we will do it waiting a couple of seconds to give time to read the information on the screen. So we create a wait function that receives the action field directly from the database, and after 2 seconds will change the state of our local action variable. Now we will create conditional returns to display on the screen the information concerning each step of the process. We will create a wallet variable that will take the value of the wallet that connects from the phantom. Now we are going to add styles in the following way. And then, in the access CSS file, we add all the style parameters and create the classes we have used with their respective parameters. We can test the functionality of what we have done by chaining the action field in our database for each of the cases we have created. We are going to add a spinning icon in cases where the application is waiting for a process, and a redirection bar for cases where the app displays information for a certain time, and then return to the main route to scan a new QR. We will install these 2 libraries and import them in the following way. To display our spinning icon, we simply place the important component with the name of the style class. In the following way, we need to display this icon in the cases of scanned, connected, and have NFT. In our style file, we are going to create the spinner icon class with the following parameters and the values of this animation in the following way. To create the progress bar and redirect, we will create the following variable with its respective set function using the useState hook. We will create the timer function that will define a constant timer that will update the progress of the loading bar every second, and a timer that after 5 seconds will stop the timer, reset the action field in the database, and return to the main route. We will call this timer function when we get a new value in the action field. For the cases no phantom, no Ethereum, granted, already used, denied, and init, we just have to place the component with the following code in the mentioned cases, in the following way. The color can be adjusted as needed. In the next video, we are going to program the verified route from where we will interact with the blockchain to finish this series. Until next time.